I'm having so much fun with Eve Galaxy Conquest, and again, they haven't given me a single penny in order to say anything good about it. So there you go. But this is my second account. One of the things I do recommend actually doing is you can go into your account information, go to settings, go to account, and then change your character. And you can have different characters on different servers. Now, money that's spent on one server doesn't transfer to the other. So, each server is an island to itself. But I've been going over multiple servers in order to kind of see if I can perfect the early game. Hey, upgrade my headquarters. Upgrading of the headquarters is one of the biggest goals. I wanted to talk a little bit about, and I'm going to make a more comprehensive guide at some point, but a couple of big tips for early game. One, refineries, very, very important. Always be upgrading them whenever possible. They are your resources, and they are how you snowball. Two, headquarters, very, very important. They represent your overall progress within the game. But number one, the biggest thing that's important to pick up is this. If you can get headquarters level 7 and then this control tower, the game is almost in two different phases. Like the gaining, not two different phases, but multiple phases. And the first phase ends when you get the control tower. Because the thing is that up until this point, your fleet size is exclusively based on the level of your pilots. So as your pilots level up, they get more fleets. When you swap between them, you're going to have to possibly lose some squads because, if somebody's lower level, you're highly, highly dependent on the levels of your pilots. What the control tower does is it increases your maximum number of squads just straight up. So now even a level 5 person has a pretty sizable fleet behind them. This makes it way easier to bring people up to speed. It's way easier to make sure that all of your fleets are good enough, right? It's a huge escalation in power. So I would say that your number one goal from the very early game is to capture get to level 3 sites, and then start capturing as many level 3 sites or above as possible. While you're doing that, level up the refineries and rush to headquarters level 7. You should be able to get to headquarters level 7 within the first 24 to 48 hours. And then from there, level up your control tower, and then you get to start taking all the way up to like level 6, 7 sites. Eve Galaxy Conquest is for bus drivers? I strongly disagree. Eve Echoes was far more AFK. Like, Eve Echoes really is like you set things and you monitor it to see how it goes. There is a lot of timers and stuff in Eve Galaxy Conquest, but to keep up, you kind of have to be constantly doing stuff. Especially for the first 48 hours. Now, you do get a special bonus for the first 48 hours here, where you manufacture components faster, you don't waste components if you become smaller ships, you save a lot more of your resources in the event that you get destroyed, all that stuff. Use this to your advantage. Like, that first 48 hours of your character's life is absolutely critical. So maximizing that amount of time is what's going to make you successful on that server. I also kind of recommend, like, I started on this server like 2 or 3 days after it started, and that actually ended up being super convenient for me. When I joined, when I was on a server day 1, it's like a lot of pressure, but also everything's kind of still locked down. Things don't actually unlock until you're partially through the thing. Yeah. So you can see here, like, you start at chapter 1, and I don't remember exactly the timing for all of these, but, you don't get... You can attack level 4 stations, which are the smaller stations, after 2 or 3 days. But you can't even go after... So level 5 stations 2 phases later, which most of these are a day or 2 each, if I remember correctly. And this one allows capture of level 6 stations and stargates. But it isn't even until this one that you can capture... Oh, no. Wait. Maybe? Either way. I think that this is the one where you can actually start going into low sec. My point is that while you are playing catch up a little bit, especially if you have a strong early game, obviously you're not going to be on the bleeding edge. But what I did was I just hopped in, opened up the ratings, went to Corp, and just applied to the number one Corp that was here, which is, in my case, Whale House, right? So I just saw them and just hit apply, and then I was in their Corp, and then I got all of these. I got a ton of Plex for these. Even the ones that I didn't participate in, once I participated in one, I got all of the Plex from all of them. You get Corp influence tickers, or rather, you get the faction legend. My point is that you start, unless you are super going to try hard it and try to be like the number one on the server, starting 2-3 days later is a really good time to like just come in and bust out and get a lot of work done. And you get a whole bunch of extra Nova credits, etc., etc.